Hello brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of Ups and Downs, where we go through an album track by track and we give the good songs an up and those bad songs a down. Today we got a big one. Today we're going to be looking at the newest Taylor Swift album titled Lover. Now I'm aware this isn't exactly a hip-hop album, but I thought under the circumstances, Taylor Swift being as big as she was, that this album, it might be worth covering. And while I wouldn't call myself a longtime fan of Taylor Swift, I have enjoyed a pretty good amount of songs of hers in the past. And I've also defended her too from a lot of things, but not from that absolute disaster of an album that was her Reputation album, because that was just terrible. But with the singles that she's released and that she's put out, I was willing to give her another chance, because it seemed like she was going a different direction with this album, but I was intrigued, I was curious to go through each album track by track and give the good songs an up and the bad songs a down, which we're going to do right now here on Ups and Downs. The opening track on this album is called I Forgot That You Existed, and it's a solid opening track. It's gonna get an up. Now, even though I did like this song, there were a couple things that I had wrong with it, and one, given its title and its lyrical content, it kind of made me worried that this album might be kind of like Reputation, just dressed up in a glossier, more happier veneer. So basically a passive-aggressive album from Taylor Swift, which is not exactly what I'm looking for here. But what can I say? This is just a good little fun song. I mean, the snaps with the piano hits. Yeah, let's go. After a couple listens, I was able to get a little more out of this than just passive aggressiveness from Taylor Swift. It's a song about moving on from perhaps a toxic relationship with a friend or with a significant other. Which, hey, Taylor Swift has done that well in the past, so why fix what's not broken, right? Moving on from there, we got the song Cruel Summer, and I enjoyed this song quite a bit. It's also getting an up. It's a simple song. There's not a lot going on with the instrumental or with the lyrics, but it's a good sounding song, much like the first track. It's got a good groove to it, and the lyrics are about like a little summer romance fling going on, and well, that's cool too. I like songs like that. I also really love the way that I also really love the payoff in the chorus. It really feels like it's building up to something. The chorus just sounds big and epic, as it's supposed to. That is going to bring us to the song Lover, though. That's going to bring us to the first down of this album. I don't know, it's not terribly written. I guess it's a fine love story, but it's something that we've heard Taylor Swift do many a times in her career. And while I said in the past that, Taylor Swift has done it well, there is still something to be said, though, for originality. And this song sounds like it could be a recycling of literally any of her other past songs. I don't know, it's not a bad song, just not very compelling to me. I gotta give it a down. That's gonna bring us to the next song, The Man, and this is also getting a down. This is pretty much Taylor Swift's version of Beyonce's If I Were a Boy. The only difference is while Beyonce's If I Were a Boy was just stupid and ignorant, this song feels more oblivious and unaware. Let me explain. She does make some pretty fair points on this track about, how she gets treated differently by the media and by the public than she would if she were a male artist. Okay, that's fine. That's probably true. Fair play. The thing that gets me with this song is mainly in the chorus where she says, if I were a man, then I would be the man. Basically what I feel like she's saying on this track is that if she were a man, then she'd pretty much be exactly the way she is. This song might have worked if it was coming from someone like Lizzo or Kesha, maybe, but not Taylor Swift. She's too big. Now that's not to say that I don't believe that she's ever had to deal with misogyny in the workplace or that her gender has ever been a disadvantage to her in her career, because I'm sure at some point it has. I'm sure she has had to deal with sexism in the music industry, an industry where, let's face it, sexism runs rampant. Given where she is and how she ended up, I can't necessarily feel bad for her either, if that makes any sense. Now that's gonna bring us to song number 5, which is titled The Archer. And this was another single off of the album. I was gonna give it a down at first, but upon re-listening to it a couple times, I actually like this song quite a bit, so I'm gonna give it an up. Now that being said, I still can't get past some of the issues that I have with this track, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get that out of the way first. One, the beat is just oozing with unrealized potential. Mainly the instrumental feels way too skeletal and too stripped down. I mean, really all you get is a synth chord progression and a very ever so faint suggestion of a of a 4 on the floor kick drum beat going on in the background. And for me, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, with the synth progression, which was beautiful, by the way, I was looking for something a little bit more. Let those kick drums punch a little bit more, you know, get a little with the hi-hat, get a little snare in there, you know? Maybe get some keys or something for a melody or something. If you had all that, this song could have come together as a really great 70s throwback type of beat. But as it is, I don't know, I was disappointed in it. But then I actually listened to the lyrics a little bit closely, and upon further analysis, this actually feels like one of the first moments of real genuine self-reflection that Taylor Swift shows on this album. And she really shows, she's talking about a relationship on this song, which of course she is. I think what she's really talking about is like her past relationships, and her actually taking some ownership of why they ended the way that they did. And I like that, especially on at the end, on the bridge at the end. It really connected with me, it really resonated with me, and I liked that a lot. I Think He Knows is just a fantastic song. This one's getting an up. Mainly, I just really love the girlish innocence that this song is dressed in, and the chorus just slaps. I don't know, that was so bad. Oh my god, I'm cutting that. But no, this is a really great song. It's got a really catchy hook that I love a lot. I love what this song is about, which I think is trying to not tip this guy that you have a crush on that you like him, even though it's probably already painfully obvious to him. Which I love that. That's just so wholesome. I love that so much. Everything about this song just makes me smile. I like it a lot. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince is next, and this is also a really good song. Give it an up. And this song's another like girly high school, innocent girly high school track that I think Taylor Swift pulls off really well on this album as a whole. I'll talk about it later, but I really like the direction she's going, where she's kind of going back to the basics with her music and her sound, but still holding on to her maturity and her evolution as an artist. And this song's a great example of that. I mean, it's got a great sounding instrumental. Most of the instrumentals on this song are really great. It's very textured, it's very sound driven, it's very dreamy, and I love it. And I like the whole us against the world vibe that I'm getting off this song, where like people are talking about Taylor behind her back in the halls, and she's got this reputation, I get it, reputation, but she's got this reputation, but neither of them are letting that stop them. And I just really like the story that this song is telling, and I think it's really good. Paper Rings is next, and this is a very upbeat, almost kind of rock and roll-ish type of song, like one of those Like one of those really sugary, sweet, like pop punk ballads that you heard in like the very early 2000s. Or like Hey Soul Sister by Train. Now this song is much better than Hey Soul Sister, but I love everything about this song. It's getting an up as well. Again, it's just got that high school girly innocence to it that I think works really well for this album, and it's still working for me. This one is kind of like, oh, you don't have to have money and riches for me to love you and all that stuff. I'd marry you with paper rings, that kind of a thing. It's all really sugary and sweet and stuff, and if that's not your thing, then you might not enjoy this song as much as I do. But what can I say? I'm a total cornball. I love it a lot. That brings us to Cornelia Street, and while I was gonna give this an up because when I was listening to it, I didn't think there was anything particularly wrong with it, sitting here now, I realize I don't actually remember much about this song. So, I think I'm gonna give it a down. Now, it's not a bad song, but from what I can remember from it, it's about a couple moving in together, I think. Maybe it's like one of those impulsive decisions, like when you decide to marry your sweetheart right after high school. But, I don't know. This song didn't really stick with me. It didn't leave much of an impact on me. While the last 3 songs in a row just had fantastic hooks, this one didn't quite stick for me, so I think I'm gonna give this a down. We're gonna go right back to the ups though, because Death by a Thousand Cuts is another really good song, and it deserves to get an up. Now the main gist of this song is saying goodbye is so hard, it's like a death by a thousand cuts, which is sweet, it's fine, it keeps the momentum of the album going quite nicely, it sticks within the theme quite well of the album, it's pretty well written, it's got a nice hook. A lot of these songs have great hooks, but this one's no exception. London Boy is next, and this song might be my favorite song on the entire album. It's getting a big old up. Now, I love this song a lot. As the title suggests, it's about an international love affair that Taylor's having with an English gentleman. But hey, what can I say? This is another great song with another great chorus. The instrumental, I think, is fantastic, maybe the best on this record. And I also can relate to this song because I, too, am in love with a London boy. Soon You'll Get Better featuring the Dixie Chicks is next up on this track list. And this is just a really sweet song. It's getting an up. Of course it is. Now this song is unfortunately for Taylor Swift's mother, who unfortunately has been battling cancer. Obviously this is a song to her of encouragement, saying soon you'll get better, and an exploration of how Taylor would feel and how she would deal with it if her mother passed away from this illness. The second time I listened to it was even harder because the first time I listened to it, I actually didn't pick up on the fact that this was about her sick mother. It's a beautifully written song, it's a beautiful song, and I sincerely hope Taylor's mother does get better and that she's able to make a recovery. But aside from all that, I mean, this song, it's much more pulled back. It's not as glitzy and glossy as the other tracks on this album. It's really just Taylor Swift playing acoustic guitar, singing, and the Dixie Chicks singing some beautiful backup vocals. And I really like that. And for me, it really harkens back to Taylor Swift's earlier days when she was a country artist, and it reminds you of why her fans, who are probably still with her, fell in love with her in the first place. And I like that a lot. It's really great. I'm glad this song is on the record. I really am. So, moving right along, we got the song False God. A song that I'm honestly on the fence with because there are things that I like and there are things that I don't like about it. Now, one great thing about it is its instrumental. I think this has a really great instrumental. It's got a very sexy sounding sax going on in the background. And it's a pretty smartly written song. I mean, the whole concept is that, you know, she's in love with this guy and their love is like a false god that they're worshiping. Now, I like the idea that they acknowledge that this love is a false god, but the problem that I'm running into here as a man of faith is that she's worshiping this false god, which is love, acknowledging that it's a false god, but still saying that they're going to continue to worship this false god. I can't really co-sign that, so I gotta give this song a down. The next track is the song You Need to Calm Down, and I will calm down, Taylor Swift. I am going to calm down. Now, I have what I call the overplay test for songs like this that become a huge hit and get a lot of radio time. Basically, if I hear a song, and I don't think the song is bad upon the first or second listen, if I keep hearing that song over and over again on the radio, and I still like it and want to listen to it even after all the times that I've heard it on the radio, then it's a good song in my book, and it's a song that I can enjoy and call one of my favorite songs of the year. This song did not pass my overplay test. In fact, it failed miserably. And also, am I supposed to be impressed that Taylor Swift is taking a stand on LGBTQ rights after, what has it been, 10 years of radio silence on this issue? Not to mention the fact that she only dedicates one verse to that issue like it's an afterthought on a song which, as a whole, is about Taylor Swift dealing with her haters. So really what I'm taking away from this song is that she's comparing the plight of the LGBT community to how haters treat Taylor Swift on a regular basis, to which I have to say, piss off. The next song is called Afterglow, and this song is also a down. I really don't like this song either. Now, what I should say is I don't like the instrumental to this song. I think it's the worst instrumental on the whole record. Those kick drums in particular just pound into your head, and I don't like it. The lyrics are actually pretty good, though. I mean, credit where it's due. This song's well written. Like some of the other tracks on this album, it has what feels like some very genuine and very real self-reflection, and I can appreciate that. I can give it its due. I can give it credit. But as a whole, I don't want to listen to this song again. It's a down. Sorry. The next song is the lead-off single to this album titled Me, featuring Brandon Urie of Panic at the Disco. And I don't like this song either. It's getting a down. Now, I have what I call the overplay test. Next song is called It's Nice to Have a Friend, and I'll bet it is, Taylor Swift. You should tell me what that's like sometime. This song's fine. It's pretty short. If anything, it's an interlude track. But it's fine. It's sweet. The lyrics are nice. I'll give it an up. Sure. And that brings us to the closing track of this 18-track album titled Daylight. And this is an excellent closing song. I'm giving it an up. I really love the hook that this song has. This is a great way to close out the album. It feels like a cleansing moment for Taylor Swift. It feels like a new beginning for Taylor Swift. And I, for one, can't wait to hear where she goes after this. I can't wait to hear her album. She totally won me back over with this album after the hot mess that was Reputation. And that was Lover by Taylor Swift, and as you can tell, I thought this was a really great album. This album was a tremendous return to form for Taylor Swift and a really great antidote to the disappointing disaster that was Reputation. And like I said, this album feels like it's harkening back to a simpler time in Taylor's career. It takes moments from when she was a country artist, both from her personality, I think, back then, as well as her sounds. And it reminds listeners why they fell in love with Taylor Swift in the first place, and I think that's really great. This album, I think, does a better job reconciling the old country Taylor Swift with the new updated pop Taylor Swift. I really like the overall sound that this album has. It's very dreamy, it's very spacey, it's very glossy, yes, but it's also very pleasant to listen to. This is a solid return to form for Taylor Swift. I didn't come into this album expecting to like it as much as I did, but I thought it was a tremendous record. I am back on the Taylor Swift bandwagon, baby. So that's really all I have to say about this album. If you'd like to like and subscribe to the channel, it would definitely help me out a lot, and I would be more than grateful. And as always, have a blessed week, and we will see you in the next video. I'm still working on that outro.